this week, as you might have seen, is Mental Health Awareness Week, and men stereotypically find it harder to talk about how they feel and tend to bottle things up inside. So For Men to Talk is a local non-charitable group that was set up as a Facebook page on Boxing Day back in 2019, and it started out as a first meeting in a cafe in February of 2020 where 19 men attended, talking about anything from football, television, movies to feelings. And then after that they had to set up virtual meetings because of the pandemic, but they're now back with face-to-face ones, and the group is a chance for men suffering with anxiety, depression and grief to talk with other fellow sufferers. Now, there may be something that could trigger you in this interview, so that is a bit of a warning, but Luke Newman is the founder of For Men to Talk, and I caught up with him earlier and asked him if there was a personal story to why he set the group up.
Yeah, so over the last 15, 16, actually nearly 17 years now, well, it's going really quick, I've lost both my mum and sister to cancer. And obviously with that, it's left me a huge amount of grief, slight depression, OCD, anxiety. There's a number of things, but I'm always open with my mental health illness, which I know a lot of people aren't. Especially us men. So that's why I formed For Men to Talk back in December of 2020.
Amazing. I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, when these groups like this, you know, that do really great things, there's always a story that's so heartbreaking behind it. But then, you know, you've got to think, well, it benefits people. So it's, you know, it's for a good thing. And you know, it's so good that you are open, because you get men that can be really open and talk honestly about their feelings, which is great. But as we know, there's men that don't. So why personally, and yourself being a man, why do you think that men just don't really open up?
I think it's almost a macho pride thing that has been built up through generations. We know from back in, 50, 60 years ago, men were going down to the mines, they would just work, come home, eat some dinner and go to the pub for a drink. You know, they'd never really be open up and talk. It is a pride thing. You know, perhaps they don't want to be vulnerable with anybody that, don't want to see them hurt or crying. It's definitely changing now. We're definitely seeing a pattern where men are opening up a bit more, but we've still got a huge way to go.
Yeah, I think personally, from seeing maybe over like the last 5 years, I think, mental health awareness has become a huge thing, and there's been loads of campaigns to talk, and especially within men. So I think it's kind of got better, but as you said, there is a way to go, 100%. So Luke, your group For Men to Talk, you've got lots of events coming up, which is absolutely great, and weekly events as well. So tell us about all of them and where they are and what they kind of do, basically.
Well, they're everywhere at the moment. We've just launched, obviously we're back down to physical meetings now. Obviously during the pandemic we went virtually, and which we will continue to do. So every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. via Zoom, we do have virtual meetings, which is attracting men from up and down the country, but also abroad as well. We have a gentleman from Canada, we have another guy from Miami comes on as well, which is fantastic. But we have physical meetings in St.Neots in Cambridgeshire on the first Tuesday of every month. We've now just launched the physical meetings in Cambourne, which is the third Tuesday of every month. And we still have in Bedfordshire as well. We have 2 physical meetings in Biggleswade Road on the 2nd and 4th of Tuesday of every month. We've also just launched a For Men to Talk and Walk, where we go and walk rather than sitting down and talk as well. So we go and walk around for about 3 miles and we talk about how we're feeling. And what's really exciting on the back of that, which is actually a bit of an exclusive for you guys, is that a lot of the guys that have come on the walks and comes on the physical meetings, we're actually going to do the virtual marathon together in October, where instead of running it, we're actually going to walk it. So we, in the space of 24 hours, we are going to walk 26.2, which is just fantastic. It gives a chance for men who, don't have a priority of getting exercise, which we know is really important for mental health, to get a training regime for 12 weeks to this common goal of all of us completing the 26.2 miles walk in October. It's going to be fantastic.
Wow, yeah, that is just incredible. And, before you even announced that, I was thinking that walk, the idea of doing the walk is so good, because even, when you just go for a walk, when you're like, oh, it's a Sunday, let's go for a classic Sunday walk, you feel so much better in your mind anyway, even if you're not, in your head, you feel a bit clear anyway, but you can feel so much clearer by just going for a walk. So I love the idea, the concept that you've got of walking and talking, because it kind of just, sometimes when sometimes people can be intimidated by going to a meeting, by just sitting down and talking, thinking, oh no, spotlight's going to be on me. But going for a walk, it's kind of like carefree, isn't it? Like, oh, you know, just go for a walk. It'd be just like talking to mates. So I think that's such a great idea. And the fact that you're going to do a marathon and walk it as well, that's brilliant. And
absolutely. So it's so much relaxed environment as well for both for our physical meetings, virtual meetings, and our walking. You know, we do talk about how we're feeling, but we also do have real good laughs as well. We know that laughter is the best medicine. So we do talk about, you know, football, TV, films. It's just literally a friendship, and that's what's been formed over the last couple of years. I can't tell you how benefit it has just for me personally, but also all the attendees that come on a regular basis.
Yeah, I was going to say, Luke, what's the kind of feedback that you get from people? I can imagine it being so good, you know, but what kind of feedback have you had from people that have attended these sessions?
Again, and it's no word of a lie. Some men have said it's life-changing for them. It's changed something in them which for the better, where they've never really opened up to anybody before. And the fact that they've been able to do it to us men, it's just amazing. It gives them the confidence to build in their life, but also be honest with their loved ones as well how they're feeling. You know, for instance, and a gentleman who doesn't mind me talking about his story, a couple of years ago, he was walking down a side of a train track where he was lucky enough to reach out before he took his own life, and came regularly to our meetings for 18 months or so now. And now when you meet him, he's just an incredible human being. He's really turned his life around now. He's actually on my board of directors because of his experience and his knowledge of where he has been and where he is now. It just shows how you can turn your life around if you open up and talk to anybody. And that's what I've strength to anybody who's listening right now. If you are feeling down, is to reach out to anybody. It's not just for men to talk, but that could be Samaritans to calm to mind, or even your GP, your doctors, you know, or even accident and emergency. If you are having those dark thoughts, please go and get help as soon as you can.
That story is just absolutely incredible. It's so good and so emotional to hear, you know, that's great. And I was going to say, you know, if a man is listening, or anyone really, you know, what can they do? And, you know, you have touched on that. So equally, as, you know, as a family member, you know, everybody has some sense of family, whether it's their friends, either colleagues. What can others do to kind of check in? Because I saw this campaign a couple of years ago, actually, and it's a little video, and it was done via iMessage, and a friend was texting someone and said, like, are you okay? And they went, yeah, I'm fine, and put a smiley face emoji. And then they text back saying, no, how are you? Really, like, are you okay? And the person said, no, I'm not. Because it's so easy these days to catch up. Everyone's so invested in their phones, catch up via their phone to their friend, not even seeing them anymore. And emojis, you can just put a smiley face when actually you're feeling like rubbish. So, you know, it's so much more these days to, you know, check in on people. So yeah, for like putting yourself into perspective of a family member or a friend or a colleague, how can you, I guess, maybe see the signs and, you know, really check in and help out without, maybe especially as a colleague, feel like you're prying a bit too much, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why. And again, I stressed it enough about asking somebody, are you okay, twice is absolutely vital. You know, really emphasising it, are you really okay? Or, you know, I'm here if you need to talk. But the worst thing you can do for anybody is keep probing somebody. You know, if you ask them a couple of times, but don't keep probing them, you know, time and time again. Because if that person is suffering from a mental health illness, they could feel overburdened, that they're not ready to talk as yet. But perhaps what you should do is, if you are really concerned about a loved one, a family member or a friend, is maybe look up suitable places where that person could talk to and say, look, if you are feeling down, these are the numbers that you could contact, and I'll leave it there for you. So it gives that process going, oh, actually, there is somebody I can speak to, you know, a professional or somebody else, you know, a charity. Because if you keep probing them, that's when they actually could get darker thoughts. So again, Don't push it, but just put the numbers underneath their noses so they know where they can turn to.
Yeah, do you know what, Luke, you're spot on there, because sometimes, you know, somebody will say, are you all right? And then you actually deepen it and you think, well, actually, you know, that can actually happen for somebody like myself that, you know, luckily I've never, as of yet, suffered from mental health. But sometimes you can get deep in your thoughts all the time. You know, that's natural. So, you know, yeah, not probing somebody is 100% really good advice there. So, Luke, your group for Men to Talk is absolutely amazing. So if somebody's listening and they want to find out more what you do and support you, or even just come along to one of these talks, how can we find out that information?
So we're all on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. TikTok because my sons have got me onto it, which is ridiculous at 41 years old.
That's great.
Yeah, but we've also got a website for mentaltalk.co.uk. But I also would like to emphasise as well for men as well as mental health, it's also to look after their physical health as well. We do have talks on the symptoms of prostate cancer, testicular cancer as well. It's important that men get checked out for their physical health as well as mental health.
Brilliant. Well, Luke, the group and yourself, you do so much amazing work. So I just want to commend you on that. It's a real big, topic. It's always going to be a big topic because this, unfortunately, affects quite a lot of people, and it will continue to do so. But but just by helping people out, by doing these things is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I just want to commend you on that. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. And yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
So that was Luke Newman, the founder of For Men to Talk. If you were affected by anything in the conversation, then you can go to the BBC Action Line, www.bbc.co.uk/action line, or the Samaritans are there 24/7 on 116 123. And For Men to Talk, they're on all social media, just For Men to Talk if you type that in, and their website, formentotalk.co.uk. A brilliant, brilliant thing that Luke has set up.